Hi, I'm Kyman Savage. I do Classical Civilisations A-Level, and in this video we're basically going to go over the plot of the Aeneid because it's an exam pretty soon, and if you don't know the plot, you should, because it's like a pretty big part of the exam. Okay, so this is basically just a video that if you're starting your revision on the Aeneid, and you're like, wait, what actually happened? Wait, was that the Iliad? Was that the Aeneid? You can just watch this video and be like, oh, okay, this one's about Aeneas. This one's got nothing to do with the other people. So, it starts us off with, starts in the Mediterranean Sea, and Aeneas and their friends, the Trojans, are fleeing from Troy, and Troy has just been sacked and destroyed by the Greeks. And they're sailing to have to go to Italy because Aeneas has been told that he's like destined to found Rome. So they're on their way to Italy and they're going to places, sort of things along the way. And as they go to the destination, there's this huge storm and it's thrown completely off course, and they arrive at Carthage. And in Carthage, Aeneas meets Dido because she is the queen of it, and she welcomes them in, talks to them, she has good hospitality. And this leads to Aeneas becoming quite close to her, as they both can relate. And he tells her the story and of his journey so far. And he tells her that the sack of Troy that ended the Trojan War after 10 years in the Greek siege. And in that, the final campaign, the Trojans were tricked into bringing the wooden horse into the city, because they didn't realise that it had all of the Greek soldiers in its stomach, in the horse's stomach bit. And so he basically tells the story of that and how that started the sacking of the city. And then he says how he escaped the burning city with his father Anchises, his son Ascanius, and that the hearth gods that represent their fallen city. The gods, wait, is that this bit? Where's this bit? Yeah, his wife dies, because, I don't know, he makes them walk behind her. He makes her walk behind them. Yeah, his wife dies, dad dies a little bit further on. But then the gods reassure him that a lovely, lovely future awaits him, and he's going to have a wife that he loves when he founds the new city. And in Italy. So he sails with a fleet containing the surviving citizens of Troy. Twice they attempt to build a new city, only to be driven away by bad omens and plagues. Harpies, creatures that are part woman and part bird, curse them. They also encountered a friendly countryman unexpectedly. And finally, after the loss of Anchises, his father, and about terrible weather, they made their way to Carthage. Going back to his father, Anchises, he wasn't very helpful because he was like, yes, it's definitely this way. We're definitely going to go this way on the boat. Because of the honour thing, Aeneas listens to his father. So even though he knows, I don't know if he actually does know, he probably does, even though he knows that they're going a completely wrong direction, because his father is like the top stand, he listens to him, so they get really lost and a couple die and stuff. Also relating back to that thing, back to the honour order, as they're leaving the city, the father doesn't want to go, and then Aeneas is willing to give up his son and his wife and let them all die just because his father won't go. But yeah, luckily the father does go, even though he's not particularly helpful. So nice for Anchises. Dido is impressed by Aeneas' exploits, and she's very sympathetic to his suffering. She was a Phoenician princess, and she had fled her home and founded Carthage after her brother had murdered her husband. And she falls in love with Aeneas, and they live together as lovers for a period until the gods remind Aeneas of his duty to found a new city. It's debatable whether they did get married or not, because there was this cave and there was the goddess of marriage there and everything. So I think she thinks they did get married. He's not so up with the marriage stuff. I don't think that Aeneas thinks they got married. They just lived having a lovely, lovely time in Carthage for a while until Aeneas goes, oh yeah, gods, they told me that I had to go. But no, the gods did actually remind him to found a new city, so he has to set sail again Dido is very devastated by his departure, and it's in a very moving part of the book. She does kill herself, but she doesn't really kill herself due to the fact that Aeneas is leaving. That was just a part in it. She kills herself because she didn't remain pure to her old husband who died, because basically Aeneas has taken everything away from her. Because before, she still had, I'm really sorry I can't remember the word, but she still had like the honour and stuff, that even though she was a woman running the city, not a man, so that's sort of strong, she remained pure and didn't like sleep with any other men after her husband had died. So she still remained loyal to him, and she held on to that. That's what made her such a good leader, as well as her like strength and good leadership skills. But after Aeneas comes, she does fall in love with him. But then when he leaves, she realises, she goes into the room like surrounded by all her old husband's stuff, and she's so upset that she sort of like disobeyed, not really disobeyed, but didn't stay loyal to him. And she really upsets her. She just really upsets her realising this. So she's really upset, blah, 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 kills herself, orders a huge party to be built with Aeneas' castaway possessions. And she climbs on it and stabs herself with a sword, and Aeneas left behind. She does stuff like she tells her sister to like go, and then the sister comes back and finds her dying. And it wasn't her time, it wasn't Dido's time to be like fated to die. So when she is like lying there dying, wow, I'm a terrible student, I can't remember the name of the goddess again, but she can't die because she's not been fated to, until the goddess takes pity on her and it's like, okay, you'll die. So she was like in pain for ages and ages, which makes it even sadder, because after all of this torment and anguish and stuff she's been through, she then can't die, and it's just, she's just living there in absolute unimaginable pain. But luckily the goddesses do take pity on her and do let her die. As the Trojans make for Italy, there's really bad weather, and that blows them to Sicily. And here there's a huge chapter on funeral games that they held for Anchises. The women are really tired of the voyage and like bored, and they begin to burn the ships. But luckily a downpour puts the fires out. A few things happen in the funeral games, just a lot of games, a lot of people winning stuff. Some of the really travel-weary stay behind, but Aeneas, he's really invigorated after his father visits him in a dream. He takes the rest on towards Italy. Once there, Aeneas descends into the Underworld, guided by the Sibyl, to visit his father, and he's shown like a pageant of the future history and heroes of Rome. Basically, this is quite important because, yeah, basically it's all the really important people that are kind of come in Rome, and like what's going to happen after he's founded it, which helps him to understand the importance of his mission. Aeneas returns from the Underworld, and the Trojans continue up the coast of the region of Latium. Next, the arrival, when the Trojans arrive, it starts all nice, starts quite peacefully. King Latinus, the Italian ruler, he sends us hospitality. He hopes that Aeneas will prove to be the foreigner of whom, according to a prophecy, his daughter Lavinia is supposed to marry. But Latinia's wife Amata has other ideas. She wants Lavinia to marry Turnus, a local suitor. I really like Turnus. I feel very sorry for him in this. He's like my favourite character. So I think he should marry Lavinia, because I mean, Turnus is really good, like really close with their family and stuff. Aeneas is just an idiot. He's just come in and basically ruins the book. The book should just be called like Turnus, in my opinion, and just all be about him, and he should win. I don't like Aeneas, but yeah. So Marcia and Turnus cultivate enmity towards the newly arrived Trojans. Meanwhile, Ascanius has a stag that was the pet of the local herdsman. Yes, nice one. They go for the pet that everyone loves, that's like the stag of the town and stuff. A fight breaks out and several people are killed, and Turnus, riding this current of anger, begins a war. Aeneas, at the suggestion of the river god Tiberius, sails north up the Tiber to seek military support among the neighbouring tribes. During his voyage, his mother Venus descends to give him a new set of weapons made by the Vulcan. And while the Trojan leader is away, Turnus attacks. Aeneas returns to find his countrymen completely in battle. Pallas, the son of Aeneas' new ally Evander, is killed by Turnus. Yay! No, Pallas anything more than Aeneas. Aeneas flies into a violent fury, and many more are slain by the day's end. it is Pallas, isn't it, that he loves? Yeah, Aeneas. I think Aeneas and Pallas were in a relationship, or they like Aeneas really loved him, so that's why he is so angry. The two sides agree to a truce so they can marry the dead, and the Latin leaders discuss whether to continue the battle, and they decide to spare any unnecessary further carnage by proposing a hand-to-hand duel between Aeneas and Turnus. The two leaders face each other. However, the men began to quarrel and a full-scale battle resumes. And Aeneas is wounded in the thigh, but eventually the Trojans threaten the enemy city. Turnus rushes out to meet Aeneas, who wounds Turnus badly. Aeneas nearly spares Turnus, but remember the slain Paris kills him instead. I'm probably going to do a video on the whole fight bit because it's really good. I've completely skimmed over like all of the details. Basically, my notes on the summary of... Yeah, by the way, that was the Aeneid. My notes on the summary of that are pretty different. I literally have just taken notes from Spark Notes for this video because they've got quite a good website on the Aeneid. But that summary has missed out quite a few like key things, sort of stuff that you've got to look in a bit deeper to see. It's missed out the whole ness of the last battle. It hasn't actually talked about the unfairness and why Turnus is awesome and Aeneas isn't, and why we don't like Aeneas, and it hasn't gone into like the morals or the honour or anything about Aeneas. But basically that is just a summary of the brief things. Obviously you don't have to know absolutely everything because you only have to know specific chapters of the book for the exam, but it's nice to know the overthrow of it all. If you have read the book, that will make sense. If you haven't, and you're just literally basing your exam on that on this video and on those notes, if you want to go, just type in sparknotes.com/lit/aneas/summary8.html. If you're basing it on that, you're not going to get that far because they miss out a lot of good things. So yeah, you really need to read the book. At least now you know sort of it. And yeah, I'm going to be doing more Aeneid videos and some Iliad videos. I'm also going to be doing art videos on like the sculptures and stuff. I apologise for my sleepiness and the fact that my hair is not brushed or anything, but I did get up like 3 hours ago and I was like, yeah, I should really start a revision now. So I didn't get back properly dressed. So yeah, I apologise for that. But yeah, good luck with your A-level classics and I will see you soon.